ATL. Through the highs and the heartbreaks, we still stand. Dirty birds forever. Let's get it. Year after year, we've been riding through the storm. Red and black in my veins, that loyalty to sworn. We don't fold, we don't run, even when the pain hits. Cause every loss just reminds us what greatness is. We show up cold nights or the Georgia sun. Cause every Sunday we believe that our time gon' come. We ain't perfect, but we faithful and we never switch. We the city of the A, yeah, we built for this. We don't need pretty words, just heart on the field we deserve. Put the work in, earn that glory. Bring our city back to the story. We'll ride till the wheels fall off. We ain't never gonna break. Win or lose, we stand tall for the A. You can doubt us, talk loud, but we still hold steady. Cause we here and we faithful and we always ready. It's the dirty, prove the dirty. If you bout it, then prove the dirty. We'll believe when you fight for the city.
Falcon fans, welcome ATL Falcon fans. This is a recorded show. By the time you guys see it, it'll be pre-recorded, and we are going over or talking about the Atlanta Falcons versus the Indianapolis Colts in Germany today. What took place? This is a bit of an editorial. I've done a couple of shows today, and a couple of ideas came out of it that just, I don't know. I just had to address, and sometimes you just gotta speak your piece and do it from your own corner in the world, and this is my attempt at that. So. If you are a Falcon fan, if you were not aware, the Falcons lost today, 31-25 to the Indianapolis Colts. The game went into OT. In some ways, it was a good game. In some ways, it was not a great game. The game was played in Olympia Stadium, whatever, in Berlin, Germany. Falcons are now 3-6 after a heartbreaking overtime loss. And all you need to know about the Colts is that Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 rushing yards. 204 rushing yards and 3 TDs. Now you hear that, and right away you assume, oh, wow, must have been a blowout. It really wasn't. As a matter of fact, there were some points during the game where the Falcons were ahead. But as has been the case in the past 4 weeks, we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Falcons' total yards for this game were 290, 150 passing, 140 rushing. They attained 22 first down. Time of possession was 26 minutes and 9 seconds. Now, I want you to pay attention to that, because when you hear some of these stats, you're not going to believe them. Again, time of possession, 26 minutes and 9 seconds. Turnovers, Falcons turned the ball over one time. They were 100% efficient in the red zone, meaning they were 3 for 3, meaning when they got in the red zone, every time they scored. Okay? The Colts had a total of 519 yards, 196 passing, 323 rushes. Now, here's the key to the game. Colts held the ball for 40 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, 40 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to say that one more time. 40 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't care if you got the 2000 Ravens defense. If you put them in a situation where they're on the field, and that was in regular time. I believe the total time was 42 minutes. But, if you have a defense on the field for 42 minutes, they're going to run out of wind. Okay? Newsflash. They are going to run out of wind, and that's what happened. The game went to OT. It was tied 25-25. And it was a very interesting game, right? Falcons, I believe, no. The Colts took the lead 6-0. Falcons came back. and took the lead 7-6. Then the Colts were up 13-7. Then the Falcons came back and got another touchdown. It was 14-13 for a while. Starts second half, Falcons went down, scored a field goal, and it was 17-13. It was 17-13 for the majority of the game. And then with about maybe 6 minutes in the fourth quarter, I think the Colts scored, and it was 20-17. I'm sorry, it was 22-17. Sorry about that. They scored a field goal first, and then they scored the touchdown, missed the 2 point conversion, and so it was 22-17. Falcons go down. They run the ball on this last drive to Tyler Algier. Now, Bijan had about 84 yards passing. We'll get into that. But on this particular drive, they put in Tyler Algier, and they ran the ball, and they went down and scored. And they got the 2 point conversion. So it's 25-22. There's about a minute and 44 seconds left. And the Colts have one timeout. And the Colts go down and they get a field goal. Now, here's the interesting piece to it. Raheem called the timeout at the end of the game with 20 seconds. Whereas if he doesn't call the timeout and lets the clock run, there's a chance that the Colts could have rushed the kick and missed it. Now, again, that's a little petty, but just bear that in mind as one more issue with timeouts with Raheem Morris. So let's move forward. Michael Penix was 12 of 28. Again, 12 of 28. Now, there were 3 drop passes in this game, which if you want to say 15 of 28, great. That's still 49%. I'm sorry, 51%. That's still very bad. That's not even 60%. Okay. Penix made some bad throws today. His footwork needs work. Penix was bad today. Okay. Just make no mistake about it. Penix made some bad throws in some key situations and scenarios when we needed first downs. It was either too short, too long, too high, out of bounds, just inaccurate passes, not setting his feet, not making a complete delivery. And Penix appears to be regressing. And something needs to be done about it. Now, we'll get into it because there was a whole debate on another show. But bottom line is Penix wasn't great today. Now, special teams, they were downright awful. Special teams were bad today. We gave up at least 4 plays of 30 yards or more. I mean, you can check the math. I know we gave up 2 for like 45 or 50. And I think we gave up another one for 30. And I think we gave up another one for 25. But special teams was awful today. Just awful. Okay. And in certain situations, the offense didn't know what to do. Falcons put up 25 points. That's true. But in pressure situations, like the end of the game and the only series of downs that we had in OT, Penix looked out of sorts. The pressure was coming to him. He looked uncomfortable. He looked like he didn't know where to go. And when he did throw the pass, it was inaccurate. He and Mooney could not link up today. He threw a pass to him that was at his feet in the overtime scenario, and he threw a pass that was out of bounds. And it was bad. Bijan Robinson had 84 yards and 1 TD. Tyler Algier had 57 yards, but they were 57 yards when we needed them. Drake had 6 receptions and 104 yards, and Drake was the star today. As what else is new, right? Drake was the man. Drake and Tyler had great games today, and the defense had 7 sacks. 7 sacks, 2 turnovers, and you still lose the game. 7 sacks, 2 turnovers, and you still lose the game. Unbelievable. Um, the Falcons were 0 for 8 on third down today. You heard me correctly. 0 for 8 on third down. 0 for 8. Zero. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Buckus. 0 for 8 on third downs. And we look bad. I mean, again, it says it all. We ran it for 130 yards, which looks good on paper, but there's no connectivity with this offense. There's no, I'm going to run this play 3 times. I'll run it twice, and then I'll do play action on the third play. There's none of that. There's no cohesiveness. Now, again, this loss isn't all on Zach Robinson. Yes, there were times today this offense looked lethargic. Yes, there were times today this offense looked like they didn't know which way was up, but there were times where they were successful. This is not just on Zach Robinson. Now, am I ready for Zach Robinson to go? Absolutely. But if I'm being honest, this wasn't all on him today. Penix was bad. Penix was bad. Penix, you got to clean up the footwork. That's just the bottom line. How you clean it up, that's up to you. But Penix, you got to clean up the footwork. And look, this isn't the first time that a #1 draft pick has been bad. Peyton Manning was awful his first year. Matt Ryan, his first couple of years was not great. He threw to one side of the field. But the difference between Matt Ryan and Michael Penix is Matt Ryan actually had a running game and an offensive coordinator with experience. And the Falcons were a running team that committed to the run, and they didn't just run out of the pistol, and they weren't predictable. You look at the numbers between Penix and Matt Ryan through the first 11 games, they are eerily similar. Eerily similar. So, you know, I know we live in the day and age where, this quarterback has to come in and be great, but everybody's not going to do that. Everybody's not going to come in their first year and be gangbusters. Everybody's not going to come in their first year and just be outstanding. They're just not. They're just not. And to expect that is delusional, or what the young folks would call delulu. That's what you young folks call it, right? Delulu. It's delulu. Okay. Let's get into that. Let's get into expectations. Michael Penix, first round draft pick. Falcons selected him last year. Arm that is golden. An arm that was anointed by God on the day that he was whatever. Just a blessed arm. Can sling it anywhere. But he doesn't set his feet. Okay. And first 11 games, he's still figuring out. He's figuring it out. He's figuring out the game. Now, if this were back in my day, when I say back in my day, I mean maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was expected that your first round draft pick, who's also a quarterback, might struggle in his first year. Now, to be honest, we do have an assortment of weapons. We do. And should he be struggling this much? Probably not. But it is not uncommon for first round draft picks who are quarterbacks to struggle in their first year. This is the NFL. There's only 30 of those jobs. And the NFL doesn't only stand for National Football League, it stands for not for long, because it's not an easy game to play. What is your point, T. Will? My point is, on one of the shows that I was on, the topic was the fans and the fact that we live in a world where you need instant results. And the fans just won't stand for Michael Penix not developing into the player that they expect him to. And if it's not better next year, they're going to be calling for his head. And my response to that is, so what? In my opinion, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, in the top 8 picks, hell, anywhere in the first round, you need to give him that unless he's just terrible. And Penix has not been terrible that often. But unless he's just terrible, I almost said it, but I didn't. Unless he's just terrible, you got to give him until at least his first contract is up. He played 3 games last year. This is his first real season. He's on his 11th, maybe 12th game now. I think 11th because he was out 1 game. He's on his 11th game. Okay. To expect him to just be great is delulu. He's got to learn to read coverages. He's got to learn timing. He's got to learn steps. He's got to get his footwork down. He's got to learn when to abandon. He's got to learn what orders to follow and what to change. He's got to learn when to audible and when not to. There are so many split-second decisions that a quarterback makes in the National Football League that you just have to learn on the job. And not only that, he's probably going to have to seek out some mentorship. He's probably going to have to seek out one of the greats and say, hey, man, I need some help. Hey, how about this or how about that? He's probably going to have to do that. That doesn't mean that he can't be great. That doesn't mean that he won't be Hall of Fame ready. It just means that in his first 11 games, he's had some good games. He's had some good games, and he's had some bad games. Today was a bad game. It happens. But to suggest that if Penix is not where he needs to be next year, that the Falcon fans are going to call for his head and be done with him, and that the Falcons would acquiesce, I'm not going to lie, it just pissed me off. When did we start listening to the fans to determine what to do with our football team? What the hell do the fans know? What do they know? Do they know more than your coaches and staff? Do they know more than your personnel? You see Penix every day. Why should the fans determine that? I understand they pay their money and they paid their tickets, but let's be honest. Zach Robinson is not the greatest of quarterback coaches. He's not the greatest of offensive coordinators. As a matter of fact, I don't see he and Penix communicating on the sidelines that often. Now, you might suggest that, well, that may have something to do with Penix. He may not want to be bothered. And I understand. But in a parent-child relationship, the parent's responsible. There should be some communication between Penix and the OC on the sideline. There should be, well, let's get this iPad and let's go over it. You should see some of that. And to the extent that you don't, you have to ask yourself why. What's up with that? What gives? You know, what's that about? When you draft any player, you are responsible for his development. Now, there are some organizations that are better at developing certain positions than others. I'll give you that. But when you spend, I believe, a number 8 pick on a quarterback, I think you want to develop him. That's just me. I think you'd want to develop him. I think you'd want to pour every available resource into not only his on-the-job training, but his off-season training as well. I think you'd want to put him First off, I think you'd want to bring in a quarterback friendly offensive coordinator, or at least a quarterbacks coach who is accomplished, who has worked with quarterbacks like a Brian Dayball, right? Daybold, whatever his name is, but somebody who's worked with quarterbacks and gotten the best out of them and helped them to achieve the next level. If I were drafting a quarterback at pick number 8, I would do that. You know what I wouldn't do? If I were the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons and I just drafted Michael Penix, I wouldn't have a first year offensive coordinator with my first year quarterback. I just wouldn't do that because, it doesn't make sense. Because now you got two guys learning together. What do you do? Well, I don't know. It's my first year. It's my first year. Huh? And if you did, I mean, if the gods, or in my case, I'm a Christian, if the Lord God Himself told you, hey, I want you to hire a first year offensive coordinator, my quarterbacks coach would have years and years and years of experience. He would be a quarterback whisperer. He would be a quarterback Obi-Wan. Hell, he'd be churning out quarterbacks like, I don't know, Chris Brown churns out hits. You get to be better, and you get to be better, and you get to be better. You know what I wouldn't have? I wouldn't have this offensive staff. I'm just going to put it like that. You have a rookie quarterback. You have a fiduciary duty to develop him to the best of his ability. Now, let's be accountable. Because just like we held Kirk accountable, Kirk Cousins, we have to hold Penix accountable. Penix has to get better. Because bottom line, the way he played today is not acceptable. In certain third down situations, he was just god awful. He did not deliver the ball where it needed to be. He did not step into it. It was not on target. And there were times guys were running wide open. That's on Penix. So, to a certain extent, Penix has to seek out mentorship himself. Penix has to take the accountability to develop himself. Penix has to seek that out himself. But you have to have a coaching staff in place that, number one, doesn't run predictable plays. That, number two, makes it easy for them. That, number three, when you scheme an offensive plan, there's a point to it. Each play has a purpose. Case in point, whenever you go up against a Kyle Shanahan offense, there's always that one outside stretch zone play to the right that they're going to run 3 times. And on that fourth time, it's not going to be a run, it's going to be a play action pass. And they're going to hit the tight end on the left. And they're going to hit it because it's going to be wide open because they've run the play to the right side 3 times. And the defense has become conditioned to doing that. So you run plays in the first, second, and third quarter so you can hit them in the mouth in the fourth quarter, right? That's what I mean when I say plays with a purpose. We don't have that right now. We have repetitive, predictable plays and repetitive, predictable formations. That's got to get better. That's got to get better. And so, to all you fans who are like, get rid of Penix, get rid of Penix, get rid of Penix, respectfully, shut up. Shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. Am I saying Penix will be a Hall of Famer? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. What I am saying is give the man a chance. Give the man a chance. Because if you had the same staff in here with any other quarterback, you'd probably have the same set of issues. Why? Because the issue is not just the quarterback's development, it's the staff in the first place. Why do we have a first year coordinator in the first place? Because it was a bad decision. Bijan, 84 yards today. And, Bijan was Bijan. I don't have anything bad to say about him. Um, they've been run blitzing Bijan. They've been stacking the box with Bijan. I think what needs to happen with Bijan is you need to put him in scenarios that they don't expect. Like, how about you run him on a Texas route, right? How about you run routes out of the backfield? If they're going to line up to stop the run, that's okay. You can still check it down to him. He's a great receiver. All you're trying to do is get the ball in his hands. And when you have a bunch of other guys running outs, why not run a Texas route, which is essentially an angle route over the middle? Why not do that? I saw a couple plays today where you literally had 4 outs and 1 stop, nothing over the middle. Now, is that a Penix thing? Because it's inaccurate? I don't know, but I've seen Penix complete some passes over the middle. He completed one today. He completed a couple today, actually. But you've got to find a way to get Bijan the ball. If you can't run it because they're stacking 9 in the box, and they are going to do that, right? When you self-anoint your running back as the best running back in football and he wins NFL Player of the Month, all defenses are going to game plan against him. And so when defenses game plan against him, you now have to make a move. It's like move, counter move, move. It's like chess. You now have to make a move. You can't just do the same thing repetitively over and over and over again. You can't do that. You can't do that. So what I'd like to see, right? What I'd really love to see is in this next game, how about we run them on some Texas routes? How about we drop them, in the slot and run them on a drag, right? Those are easy routes. You run everybody else some whatever, your outs, your whatever. Run them on a drag. Run them on a Texas route. Let's just see how that goes. If you get the ball in his hands, he's magic. And it's whether it's 5 yards on a run or 5 yards on a Texas route, 5 yards is 5 yards. So maybe he doesn't get 100 yards a game in rushing. Maybe he gets 120 in receiving. I'm sorry. And then he comes back and gets 100 yards. But you have to find ways to get Bijan the ball. That's all I'm saying. You've got to use what you got. Bijan is a weapon. You have to use him. Got to use him. Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier was the man today. Tyler Algier got the ball on the second to last drive where the Falcons went down and got their last touchdown to get to 25 points. Tyler ran the ball for the majority of that drive when they weren't passing. I think that most of the plays were runs. But Tyler was outstanding. Tyler was outstanding. And you know what we did, right? So we get the touchdown. It's 25-22. We get the ball in OT, and we really don't go to Tyler that often. Or we didn't do what we should have done, which was let's do a play action. Because you know what the Colts did? They ran a run blitz as soon as they saw Tyler in the game. So you know what would have happened? If you'd have ran a play action off that, it's probably wide open. Because everybody on the defense is coming up on the line to do what? To stop Tyler. But we don't do that because I don't know. I don't know. If you'd have ran a play action play right there, I'm pretty sure, even though Penix didn't have a great day, whatever receivers out there is going to be running wide open. Because you had about 8 people on the line to stop them. That leaves 2 left. So if you run 3 guys out there, somebody's got to be open. I would think so. Right? But we didn't do that. We weren't creative. We didn't adjust. My friend Scott Karasik mentioned something about a predictability metric and doing something against what you normally do and having that built in your repertoire to pull out when you needed it. That would have been a good time to do it, right? That would have been a good time to say, hey, you know what? We normally run it here. Let's run play action. But we don't do that. Because a hallmark of this Falcons team seems to be that oftentimes we're not prepared. We're not prepared for third down. We're not prepared for OT. We're not prepared for the end of the half. We're not prepared. That's on coaching. And it starts at the top. And at a certain point, let's talk about the coach. Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 yards and 3 TDs. Colts rushed for 323 yards. Daniel Jones was 19 of 26 for 255 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. But here's the kicker, guys. We got 7 sacks today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 sacks today and 2 turnovers. We got a fumble recovery. JPJ doing his thing again. I think Jalen Walker may have been the one that knocked it loose. And then we got an interception from Jesse again. And yet, as we so often have done in the last 4 games, we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And I can only point to 2 things. Number 1, they possessed the ball for 40 minutes. You know, you that's got to be better. You can't. We had at least 4 or 5 3-and-outs. We've got to be better. And that goes back to Penix and being inaccurate, but that also goes back to scheme and the plays that you run and just them not being successful and being predictable. Right? 4 3-and-outs, 5 3-and-outs. 26 minutes against 40. No. You're just I mean, you can't expect any defense to defend every blade of grass for 40 minutes. Something's got to give. And you know what? I commend this defense, even though we allowed an ungodly amount of rushing yards. I commend this defense because they kept us in this game. They kept us in this game the entire game. It was the defense that kept us in there. There was a 4th down play on the 10-yard line, and we stopped them cold. They didn't even get a field goal. So they had a 4th down where they didn't get a field goal. They missed an extra point, and they missed a field goal. By all rights, that game could have been, they could have blown us out. But our defense kept us in it until they couldn't. We got to be better. We got to be better on offense. And look at, if you don't think we're going to get any better on offense, then something has to be done. I'll leave it to your imagination as to what that needs to be, but something needs to be done. If you do the same thing and expect a different result, that is the definition of insanity. Something needs to be done. We're 3-6 now. Most people will write us off. Most people will say this season is over. We probably right now, I think we have an 8% chance of making the playoffs. We probably have to win out. We have to win out to win 11 games. We are 3-6 right now. We got to go 8-0 to get to 11-6, and then we still may not make the playoffs because the closest team to us right now has 3 losses. The closest team. San Francisco has 3 losses, which means we're down by 4 because we lost the tiebreaker to them. There's another team that we lost to that I can't think of. They have 3 losses. So you got to win out to even have a chance, is what I'm saying. One more loss and you are for sure done. Not great odds. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Doesn't mean it won't happen. As my brother said, speak those things into existence as if they were. Okay? Eric Parker, LBB, speak those things into existence as though they were. But for now, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Falcons defense wore down today simply from fatigue. And look, I don't blame them. You're on the field for 42 minutes. Most defenses will break down. Most folks will break down. Mama, there goes that man again. That dude, Jonathan Taylor. You know what? Let me tell you, he's something, man. He's something. I mean, he took it to us, you know? He took it to us. That's all I can say. He took it to us. He took us to the woodshed. Okay? I mean, that's nothing more needs to be said. He took it to us. In the final minutes, Falcons missed a chance after Colts turnover, and Taylor's 22-yard burst set up a game-winning score. Once again, execution and clock control remain recurring issues. There wasn't a turnover in the final minutes. I mean, basically, you know, we were 3 and out, or no, we weren't 3 and out, but we ran like 4 or 5 plays and we kicked the ball. The punt was terrible, okay, and they ran the ball back like another 25, 30 yards, and I think they started the ball in our territory from the 40 or maybe even inside the 40. So special teams today was god awful. Again, there were at least 2 plays of 50 yards. There was at least one play of 30 plus yards and at least one play of 25 yards on 4 separate punts. Our special teams unit was bad today. I guess the good news, the silver lining, there were no major injuries for us today. Oh, wait a minute. D. Alford did suffer a concussion, I believe. I don't think he ever came back in the game. So we'll have to find out what happened with that. But injuries happen. You got to have the next man up mentality. Falcons are now 3-6, and they got to win out. You know, and we just discussed that. So there's no need in belaboring the point. Do you guys watching this recording, do you feel like the Falcons can make the playoffs? Now, I asked this question on Facebook, and I think I got one person that said yes, but I think he was joking. I may have gotten 30 responses, but of the 30 responses, only one person said we had a chance. Everybody else was like, no, 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 and some other language that I won't use, but it was a resounding no. That was the point. I'd love to know, when you guys do watch this, what changes do you want to see? Do you want to just get rid of Zach Robinson? Do you think Raheem Morris should go? Like, I'd love your thoughts. So do me a favor when you watch this, drop it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think this team can make the playoffs. And also let me know the changes you'd like to make. And if you'd like to see a head coaching change, let me know who you'd like to see. You know, let us know who you'd like to see. You know, Berlin trip showed flashes of potential, but again, you know, if you don't deal with certain issues, they rear their ugly head again. Once again, we had timeout issues in the first half. You know, once again, in clutch situations, we don't know what to do on offense. You know, once again, I think we even had a penalty after with the time situation or whatever. Or there was an issue with Zach Robinson getting a play in time, which again is the same old thing. So until you start to address those, and to be honest with you, I don't know that we can address them. We've been dealing with timeout situations all year. We dealt with timeout situations last year. I don't know that you can fix it. You know, at least not this administration. I don't know. I don't know that you can fix it. But anyway, Falcons fans, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate you listening. Anybody who watches this, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. And hey, drop a line. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if there's something you change about it. Either way, just respond and let me know if you think these Falcons can make the playoffs. I know, right? Whatever, to let me know. Also, let me know what changes you make. Let me know if you did change the head coach. Who would you want to see as your next head coach in here and why? Okie doke. Last but not least, hey, please join us at For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Again, For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. You can grab the link there, just type it in, and please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Okay. There's several shows we have, typically the Monday morning quarterback. There is the What the Falcons show with Scott, typically on Thursdays. And there's the Terry and Carey show. That can be anytime from Wednesday to Friday. You just have to hit the notification bell and you'll be notified when we go live. But to anyone who joined us, thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, man, thank God for sending you guys in my path. I want to thank God for waking me up today. Just thank him for everything. Last but not least, hey, man, I want to thank Mr. Jack Spade, or thank God for Mr. Jack Spade and Mr. Eric Parker and Miss Carrie and Bodie. But thank you to Eric and Jack for giving my start in this business. You guys have an amazing day. Hopefully your week will be better. Hopefully we can get this figured out. And hey, let's do what we can to go on this 8-game win streak. So in the next 8 or 9 weeks, we can look back to this and say, wow, remember when we were 3-6, we never thought we'd get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Just kidding. Anyway, hey, man, rise up. You guys have an amazing day. Thanks to everybody for joining me. Good night, everybody. Let me tell you something. Look it, man. I've been an Atlanta fan for 45 years.
Turning up the heat, Team Will on the mic, can't accept defeat. My ATL Sports Show, he's running the game. Atlanta Falcons fly high, you know the name. In the heart of the A, where the pride runs deep. From the Braves to the Falcons, he's keeping it real, no sleep. He's got the scoop, every player, every play, bringing the thunder every single day.